I survived 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore starting on this very block right here. It's going to give me everything from dirt all the way to sweet shining diamonds. So if you don't know about one block, it's basically a map where you're in the sky starting out on this one block, as the name states. Every time we break it, we have a chance to get dirt or wood or even a chest with items in it. There's 10 phases in total, starting with the basics all the way down into the end, giving us rarer loot as we go on. After with nearly every 100 days video, this is in Minecraft Hardcore, so if we die, it's over. No second chances. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and slap the thumbs up button and subscribe, as we are a new Minecraft channel. And without further ado, let's get started with day 1. No, not that day 1. No, not that one either. Alright, on day 1, I start punching this piece of dirt on our feet, and I'd be lying if I told you I was scared of falling from breaking this thing 1,000 times over. Day 1 is pretty simple. We get some dirt and some wood to eventually make some wooden tools. We already had some food thanks to the chest that spawned, but this guy spawned as well. Don't worry, I'll make it painless in due time, buddy. Of course, as anyone would do, I start using my dirt to branch out so that I don't fall to my death right away. As you can see, I was fiddling with how this block is kind of like a vacuum sucking any items near it. Pretty neat. Oh look, you have a new friend. Now you won't die alone. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. You're not gonna die. I also got some saplings, so I immediately started planting those to get a decent wood source. Aw, look at us. Just 4 peeps hanging out. Only one of us is gonna make it past the first 10 days. Can you guess who? Well, there goes our first tree. I'm gonna need more dirt so that the saplings don't fall into the void. Day 1 pretty much ends with me expanding and getting the basic animals for survival, and of course we can't forget those torches for light. By day 2, I had expanded enough to where I could make a pen for my farm animals, and for the meantime, I just stuffed them all in there. Don't worry, you all have your separate homes soon. We also ended up mining some stone to make stone tools and eventually get iron and coal. I tried using my water bucket so that I could put blocks under the magic block, and it almost ended with me falling into the void. We also got a cow with Rona. Sorry, buddy. While mining, we got an unfriendly surprise, and man, did this scare me. I didn't think mobs could spawn from this at this point. I was wrong. The next day, I upgraded to 2 pens, and we're slowly but surely growing the island. I can't risk it, buddy. You might be friendly now, but I know at night you're going to try to eat me. I did start the tiniest farm you've ever seen since we're a little tight on space right now, and I also started building out of cobble since I wasn't getting any more dirt from the magic block. The last thing I did was build a foundation for my house with brick from the clay I had, but this will be changed later since I didn't like the way it looked. If you're wondering why I'm mining from far away, it's because I'm terrified of creepers. One blow and they could end me if I'm not careful. At the start of day 4, I begin building walls for my house. Unfortunately, the beginning is just very slow since I have to keep breaking this block to get more materials, and trees aren't really growing at a fast enough pace right now. The rest of the day was just farming materials and trying to finish my roof, and I had just enough iron to make myself a chest plate to take on the baddies. Using all the chests I've gathered from the block, I placed them down in my house. You'd be surprised how many chests the block actually gives you. Hey, I mean, at least it saves on wood. I also made an infinite water source just in case. Now on day 5, I had enough space to plant more trees, and any animal that spawned from the block I just brutally murdered since I was just too lazy to get them in the fencing. We also hit our second phase on this day. I was excited, as you can see. Since I had some trees growing, I could finally expand the front of my house with planks and work on the roof to my home. Also, I haven't played Minecraft in what feels like years, so sorry if my builds aren't spectacular. I was also really bad when it came to roofs, but I just did the standard roof with stairs and upside down stairs. Of course, I had to be interrupted by the most annoying mob in the game, a phantom. Seriously, punishing the player for not sleeping? Really? Everyone knows working at night is where peak productivity is. Also, how the fuck did you get up here? Burn in the depths of hell, phantom. During the day on day 6, I pretty much finished the layout of the roof, and I was just waiting for trees to grow to get more wood. At night, I got ambushed by a spider, and if you haven't noticed by now, I've been eating melons since the block gives you so many of them. Day 7, I stripped some sheep of their dignity, which is ironic because right after I made myself some pants to rub it in their faces. Throughout the day and through the night, I managed to get enough wood to finish the roof, and we used our wool from earlier to make beds for my room and for the wall. The following day, I made some finishing touches around the house, and since I didn't have glass, I used fence for windows instead, which worked pretty well in my opinion. The tree farm was finally getting me wood as well, which was useful. Day 9, our little island has expanded beautifully, and man, do I love that house. It's small, but it sure is cozy. Like I said earlier, I did end up getting rid of that brick and instead used strip log, and guys, I think strip log is probably my favorite building block. It just looks so dang good. Pretty much until day 12, I was just farming wood to expand, and our wheat farm was finally getting somewhere. Now, I know it says day 11, but this is day 12, and I started branching out with oak slabs because I was going to make a big circle for our island, and maybe branch out later. This continued through day 16 and the island really started to take shape. I was really scared about falling to my death, but I had to trust in the power of sneaking. Basically, I split it into 4 sections, one being my house, one being the animal farm, the other being the crop farm, and the one in front of my house being a temporary tree farm. 2 sides were filled with wood since dirt was pretty hard to come by, and that was a good idea looking back. I mean, I couldn't even finish the crop farm because I ran out of dirt. Day 17 wasn't much, it was just me shoveling dirt until I could fill the sections that were going to be my farms. And speaking of farms, on day 18, I began making a chicken coop, and man, was this experimental. It looks okay, I guess, but I didn't put much thought into it. I also, for some reason, put a place on top of the coop for our mushroom, and I gotta be honest, this served no purpose. I never used this thing. Not even once. Sorry, Rona cows. The next day, I led the chickens into their new home, and the little piggy decided he wanted to be a chicken. Well, they do say you can be whatever you want to be, so... I also began the animal farm, and I was also winging this, but this ended up really good. Now, for some reason, if you use trapdoors, animals can hop in, but they can't hop out, which is perfect to get them inside without a hassle. And on top of that, we can jump over and out perfectly fine. This makes it look really good with those spruce trapdoors. The roof didn't turn out so bad either. I was fairly proud of myself. I did the trapdoor trick as well next to my house for a little sheep pen, and then began mass breeding the chickens for their inevitable deaths. Also, I find it funny that I have these 2 cows outside as my milk cows, but I bred them, meaning one of them is a boy and one of them is a girl. What milk is the boy giving me? Day 21, I made a bunch of campfires and placed them right in front of the farm, basically just taunting the animals. Don't worry, you 30. I'll never kill you. Hopefully. While mining the blocks, some bunnies spawned and somehow they made their way into my bed and started hopping around. Fine, you can stay. Now on day 22, man's best friend spawned and it kind of broke me because I didn't have any bones yet, so I couldn't tame him. Also, he tried to kill one of my bunnies, so I don't know if I really wanted him anyways. I was curious to how my island would look on a map, so I crafted one, and man, that looks so cool. It's something so simple, yet so amazing. These guys also spawned, and they nearly got me to half, which scared me, but I took my breath inside for a second and murdered his buddy. I found a trick where I could get them to turn on each other, which I proceeded to use every time from here until day 100. Now, I don't know why I was surprised the block spawned a polar bear, and while it's not ethical to keep, especially in this environment, I did anyways. I made some trapdoors, and voila, we have a pet polar bear. I tried to give him fish, but he looked at it like, really? Cod? How about some salmon, you cheap bastard? Well, at least I know what wolves like. Here's some bones, buddy. I think I'll call you Finn after my own dog. Apparently on each phase, this will happen where a bunch of tough mobs will spawn, and man, did this frighten me the first time. I thought my time in this world was up. Take that, you dead piece of crap. Day 24 was mainly a chore day, breeding and chopping wood, but at night we entered the ocean phase, and man, do those tridents pack a punch. Fortunately, the shield in Minecraft just blocks nearly every attack in the game, so these guys ain't a threat at all. The ocean phase is cool because it spawns diamonds, so we can start getting rich. Day 25, I had an idea to use hoppers to pick up all the drops from chickens when I killed them, but unfortunately, eggs just filled the entire chest, and hoppers, and I did expand this later, but I just don't know how to sort the eggs out so they don't get in. I'm not a redstone genius. Here's some salmon, buddy. Just how you like. I started making a little doghouse for Finn since he was just chilling outside with no home. Nothing too crazy, just small and easy. Get in there, buddy. A whole house for you with your favorite color, too. At least I hope it's your favorite color. Remember how I said the shield blocks nearly every attack? Well, here's a mob that doesn't with his laser beam. It's okay. Let's just launch him off the island. The entirety of day 27 was me just mining the magic block, and by the very start of the next day, a monster guard horde spawned, and this skeleton pushed this zombie into me, nearly killing me. I had to jump for the pool, and I still got shot. I'm very lucky I didn't die. Pretty much the next 2 days were mining as well, fighting off death on the way, and I didn't notice at the time, but my phases were stuck on like 1 or 2 because every time I'd save the game, it would just reset. I noticed this on day 55, which is very unfortunate since I wasted a lot of days just mining away doing the same phases over and over. It's okay though, this guy decided to give me a break and killed himself. Thanks for that. Sure does calm the nerves. But yeah, I genuinely didn't realize this for so long because I had never played one block and I was just calmly mining away and I thought it was naturally progressing since eventually I got to the jungle phase, and that's because I just happened to be playing for hours on end. You guys just handle your beef. Don't mind me. We also got another pet that spawned. Franklin here was super cute and he really liked staying inside the crops. Since I was getting so many blocks, I decided to encase the magic block with some prismarine, so in case something happened, I'd be somewhat protected. This was just in time too, because another one of these guys came and couldn't move from where he was. He would have destroyed my farm if he was just loosely hopping around. On day 30, the cage was looking a little ugly to me, so I changed up the blocks to these and made it bigger since every time the monster guards spawned, they would break the floor and the walls. Now, I don't think the prismarine bricks look that much better than the other blocks if you're wondering, since it sticks out like a sore thumb, but hey, I needed to use these blocks since I probably wasn't going to use them in the future. I'm also getting a little aim training with these guys, so that dragon won't know what hit him. You know, these salmon had a little particle effect going on, and I thought it was something special, but no. It just means they're dying because they can't breathe. I was just sitting there smiling, watching them die. Ugh. I'm a terrible human. I made an item frame to hang up the map on the wall. This looks nice. The first half of day 32 was chopping down some spruce, but since we made it to the jungle phase, the second half was fighting off these vexes. I hate these things. Anyone with me on that? They have a walk through walls cheat. I was on edge, like come any closer and I'll murder you. As scary as that was, I must keep mining away. Mining with a stone pickaxe was extremely slow, and since we didn't have enough iron to make an abundance of iron pickaxes, I only had one in case I found diamonds or gold. Speaking of which, I did have 3 diamonds, but I saved them until we had an enchanting table. I don't know why, but I couldn't tame these kittens with fish. If anyone wants to refresh my brain, that would be really helpful. I was tired of mining the next day, so I started branching out to make an outer ring for my island that is connected by bridges. On this outer ring would be my tree farm, a farm for my carrots and potatoes, and maybe some sugarcane. I had a lot of spruce, so I used slabs, and don't worry, I did this nice and slowly so I wouldn't fall to my death. I finished the first part of the ring by the start of the next day, and I started making the first bridge. I did want it sunken a bit, so I used water to place blocks under, and let's just say I had a little scare. See, when you water a slab, it'll put the water in the slab instead of on top, and I kind of maybe placed another slab, taking away the water source I was floating on. Now what I pulled out of my ass was amazing though, because my water was going down super fast, but the waterfall I had placed like 2 minutes ago was descending extremely slow. So with quick thinking, I hopped onto that one for more time to think, and thank God I did this because I swam all the way up to the top as it was coming down to get some height because I jumped another time to the waterfall next to it. My heart was racing. I could not believe I had saved the run like that. I swam all the way up and broke through the floor to get back on the island. By the way, that was all on day 34 because I didn't change the day since, you know, I literally almost died. I'll try to be more careful next time. It's funny because I just remember being so nervous. I mean, I almost missed this tiny ass jump right here. Well, anyways, I finished the bridge, and by the end of the day, I had pretty much built 4 bridges on all 4 sides of the circle. Day 35 is me doing the outer part of this new circle, and I was getting better at making these. You can imagine I had my finger pressed on that snake button. I'm surprised I didn't break it during all of this. The following day was using all the dirt I had to try and fill it in as much as I could because I did want it to have that natural feel, if you know what I mean. I didn't just want it to be wood with dirt patches for growing trees. So in retrospect, I guess it's good the phases broke since I was able to get all this dirt from it. I did manage to fill in one section of the outer ring. Now on day 37, I made like a little roof over the pigs and cows for storage. I put mob drops, food, seeds, and all that jazz in here to free up some space and to have a place to put this stuff. I think it made the shack a little better looking too. Day 38 was spent getting rid of the old tree farm and clearing that up, and for some reason, I had all these animals take refuge in my house. Get out! I also filled in all the dirt patches with wood, and it killed me to know that I'm losing dirt to the void, but oh well. We planted spruce trees on this side of the section, and on the other side I did oak. I left these 2 trees just because I thought they looked nice, especially with that little lantern in the middle. The updated map looked pretty cool as well. The next 2 days I just mined away again, still didn't realize the phases were resetting every time I exited the game. But I found out that when monster guards spawn, you can make them fall into the void, which is a huge help instead of just fighting them. And to end that off, I just filled in the section to the right with some dirt and birch saplings. Day 41 was the same ordeal, just trying to gather more dirt, but check this out. A pillager outpost and what seems like a village in the distance. I wonder why that happened. But anyways, the next day, here's me putting hoppers under my chicken coop, but like I said previously, this never ended up working out because I didn't know how to sort the eggs out of the hoppers or the chests. Minecraft noob, I know. Day 43, I finally finished placing dirt on the second section of the outer ring. I put dark oak saplings here, but I haven't played Minecraft in a very long time. This is not how you make dark oak trees. They have to be planted on 4 blocks next to each other, like a square. Ugh, sorry folks, I know that's painful to watch. Anyways, I ended up doing some breeding and committing a massacre on all my farm animals, and now I have a ton of food that I went ahead and tossed in the smoker. Now I began placing cobble a block under the 3rd section because I was going to make a sugarcane farm. Obviously sand is affected by gravity, so that's why I did this. And well, I didn't want to farm dirt all over again. I did use slabs here as well to be more efficient and waste less cobble, and by the end of the day I had finished that and started placing the sand, leaving gaps for the water. I also decided later that this would be a mix of sugarcane and bamboo, since why would I need that much sugarcane? Now on day 45, it was time to get some storage going. With some spruce, I started making a little shack where the old tree farm used to be, since it was looking pretty bearish. Nothing too fancy, but big enough to house a couple of chests. I'm not the best architect, but it'll have to do. While building, this guy spawned as well, and his poor alpacas are choking to death hanging over the edge. I would help, sir, but I kind of want you off my property anyways. The following day was spent using all those useless chests I got from the block, and even made a lantern to make it look nice and cozy in here. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I also started sorting everything immediately because we had so many different types of items and it was driving me insane. The next day we showed that magic block who's boss, as well as organizing all the drops I got from different phases. The ocean phase drops a lot of useless things. I mean, useless to me anyways. I moved my campfires behind the storage because they were out of place in front of the cows, and the cows were probably wondering if they were next on the menu. We also crafted some item frames as well to label everything in our storage room. Just look at me, guys. I'm such a disappointment. And then I'm like, oh shit, wow, I'm stupid. It's okay, guys. We had to get it eventually. I figured I wanted to make a little aquarium, so I started making something that looked like a big barrel. Through to day 50, I tried putting rocks and coral, but honestly, I had no idea how to make dead coral alive again, and I was too lazy to look it up. I finished off with glass on both sides and some sea lanterns on top for some light. Then I just filled her up with water, and there we go. It's cute, right? Day 52 is when I figured out something was severely wrong with the phases, so I enabled cheats to see the information regarding the phases, and would you look at that? It says we've only registered up until phase 2 when I've been to the ocean and briefly to the jungle. Well, from here to day 54, I was mining a way to get to the ocean phase again, and a dolphin popped out this time. I immediately wanted to put it in the tank, so I created a little tunnel with water so that he could swim into the tank. This took me a while, and when I got him in, the salmon and cod I put in there got out, but we must make sacrifices, people. It took a couple of tries since the dolphin kept coming out, but eventually we were able to get him in there, and now we have a pet dolphin. Let's just say this didn't last very long since he despawned in the future. What a day wasted. Like, really? They can despawn? This is the day when I finally had to enable cheats to skip to the phase I was supposed to be on. I ended up skipping to the jungle phase since I only got like 1 day of the jungle that one time. Straight to work mining my life away since I felt like I wasted so much time. Hell, I could literally be in hell right about now. We got some parrots, which was dope, and oh great, they're back. The Vexes. You guys are lucky the Phantoms exist, or you would be my least favorite hostile mob. Fortunately, they are easy to deal with, since all you have to do is leave the area and they'll just despawn. Oh, you know what that means. Redstone! Although, why is it so bright? We also got this big guy, and pandas have got to be my favorite animal ever. So you bet I'm going to try and keep this guy around till the end. Let's go, Georgie. Pandas like cake, so I immediately went to go get those oh so useless eggs and milk, and he just starts grubbing away. I didn't think he can get any more cooler, but look how he eats food. Come here, buddy. I got another one for you. He was kind of stuck, so I helped him, and it looks like he was too full from the first cake since he didn't eat the second one. On day 57, I finally got that bamboo to start growing it next to the sugarcane. The next day, we got to a new phase, and in this one, finally got villagers. But more importantly, I made friends with a llama. I also filled in the final section with some dirt, but I couldn't finish all of it. A bunch of mobs spawned as well since I forgot to put torches. But hey, it's good aim training. Georgie, he's our friend. Don't push him off. For some odd reason, when I fight Endermen, they don't attack me back. It's funny because I looked him in the face, he got mad, and when I slapped him, he folded. So I don't even know. Frida here has a pretty good trade, that being the clay for emeralds. I have a whole bunch from repeating the phases so many times, so now we got a little bit more rich. Look at all that bamboo. Georgie's gonna love this. Apparently you can't use leads on pandas. I'm assuming it's because he's so huge and probably doesn't listen to me. Hello? This is my room, not yours. Fine, if you want it, you're gonna have to give me an emerald a day. And that's being generous. Can someone tell me the point of putting a chest on a llama? There's no space in here. It doesn't matter though, because literally 2 minutes after, I found some donkeys. I tamed one and he will forever stay on this fence. Day 60, I finished the sugarcane part of this section and slabbed over the water so when it's time to harvest, they wouldn't fall into the water. These guys also showed up, but really? Fists to a sword fight? This isn't even fair. It's funny how they break the floor and it just backfires right in their face. We also ended up getting 2 new villagers, Olivia and her friend. On day 62, I made rails because I was going to make a simple iron farm since I didn't have any. Now, did I need this much iron? No, but that's not the point. This time around, I actually wanted to lift up the platform, but it was still going to be a circle. Here we go again. This is always scary to do, but I feel like I'm a pro at this point. I started making some concrete by putting some concrete powder I made into water. This was going to be like a little border for the floor. After this, I went ahead and used stripped spruce log for the main floor, and man, this is going to be an expensive platform. I had to chop down so many trees for this, but man, I'd be lying if I said it didn't look good. Most of my time is spent getting materials and storing things. Maybe if the world didn't break, we'd probably have enchantments by now. Now, unfortunately, day 65 to 72 messed up and I couldn't save the recording. Thanks, OBS. We do have some good news though. I was actually recording in-game for some of it. I decided to build a villager farm and a village for no apparent reason but to just do it, and this is about 5 days of the footage lost. The other 2 days are probably just me gathering materials and harvesting crops for different errands. Anyways, I just watched a basic YouTube tutorial, which I'll leave in the description. I made a little farm patch with a composter in here and then started building up with some logs. I planted carrots and made walls using that strip log once again. I love those things. I also made 3 beds with a space in between so that the villagers wouldn't be able to sleep and get away and or fall to their death. The hard part was getting these guys in here, but after crafting a bunch of rails and powered rails, I began with this guy who was a trouble to get him to leave my house. Get out, you're getting evicted. I also didn't have the spacing right for the powered rails, so he just kept coming down, and it's funny looking at this from this angle because he came down because I think he bumped into the other villager, and so when he was going down, I was actually coming up the waterfall. Once they were both in here, I left them alone so they could do their thing. Not really, I'm right here in the back being a total creep. But after about 5 seconds, we got this guy. Now, unfortunately, he came through the trapdoor and was jumping on the bed, and I don't know what happened to him, so I'm assuming he jumped off. Whoops. To finish off, I just made a tube all the way down, and at the end, I placed some water so that the babies wouldn't break their feet on the way down. Hey, we got one. He's so tiny. I also started building them some houses. Nothing too fancy, just so they would have a space with a bed to sleep. I should probably tuck them in considering mom and dad are imprisoned in the sky. Huh. Ironic since we're basically imprisoned in the sky. The second house that was essentially the same thing except a bit taller with whatever this is in the front. It was kind of scary breaking my roller coaster down, but luckily we made it down safely. On day 73, I was finally on the nether phase mining away and some piglins spawned. Now, I was going to try and trade with them, but apparently piglins in the overworld turn into pigmen, so that kind of sucks and I feel like that shouldn't be that way. At the beginning of the next day, I mined up some ancient debris and I had to finally use some of my diamonds to craft a pickaxe, which was fine since we finally got access to some obsidian as well. Fun fact, we don't even need to go into the nether since this phase pretty much gives us everything we'll ever need from it. I was going to kill whatever this thing is called, but I don't know, I kind of like them, so I just let them stay with Georgie. These guys hit super hard as well. I mean, 2.5 hearts. Since I was slow from being on the slab. That was close. Not only that, but one of them was roughing up my boy, but then he instantly turned to me and I panicked and went left, and that meant I had to make it around this corner. Ha! Take that, Miss Piggy. That could have ended really badly. My biggest fear by far from the nether was blazes though, since everything around me was wood. Well guys, it actually happened. See, a little boss fight happened, and at first I thought I was fine since the blazes went down, but then I decided to take a peek and they were coming back up. Then I turned around to get away from them, and there you have it. A blazing fire spreading faster than my butt on the toilet, and certainly faster than I could even think. My donkey was on fire, my house was on fire, hell, everything was on fire. I started trying to put everything out with my shovel. Georgie, watch out! I started with the back of the house. I was moving as fast as I could, but it just wasn't working. It was spreading way too much. At what point I had to cool off since I was on fire myself. The floor was also starting to burn and it was super dangerous running around. My entire house gone within a couple of minutes. I was in utter shock. I didn't know what to do. My beautiful tree was gone. I immediately started building the floor again, and I was so focused on what happened near me that I didn't notice the fire blazing in the background at my tree farm. That started spreading like crazy too, but luckily I was able to put that one out easier. Unfortunately, all of the spruce was burning, and in trying to stop that one, I fell, breaking my legs. Once everything had settled down, I got straight to work on everything. My floor, my house, my aquarium, and my storage room. There is some good news though. That being that chests don't burn, so I didn't lose all my stuff. A couple days passed with me building everything back, and it wasn't exactly the same as I built it the first time, but it'll have to do. I ended up building a basement for the magic block in case that ever happened again. Since we lost so much time doing that, and with the whole phase thing that happened, it was time to craft ourselves an enchantment table. I popped this sucker down where the iron farm was going to be, and that sugarcane farm sure did come in handy with all those bookshelves. I had so many levels, so I enchanted the bow first, getting only infinity on it, which was dope and disappointing at the same time. I then did my iron pants, giving us proc 4 and unbreaking 3, which was amazing. I then saw that my iron boots could be feather falling 3, which I desperately wanted, so I snagged those as well. Then I went for another bow and it came out as infinity with power 4. Did my pick next, being unbreaking and efficiency 4, and then my axe actually got silk touch with it, which was nice. I knew I had just enough diamonds for a chest plate, so we did it, and not too shabby. Protection 4, thorns 2, and unbreaking 3. On day 79 is when I finally finished the nether phase and went into whatever this phase was. Felt like I was in the Bee movie, but in an alternate universe where the bees hurt people. On the same day, I built another house in the village since there was way too many living in one house. I ended up finishing it on day 80, and then on day 81, I tested out our new pickaxe, which was now going to shred through the phases with how fast it mined. We also ended up getting a horse with no meat and a zombie horse, which I actually really loved. The next day we were chilling and then a swarm of large bees attacked me. It felt like I was in a fever dream. You know, building that little basement under the block was the best idea I ever had, since it broke any gravel or sand that spawned instantly. We did get a couple more diamonds that day, and I was about to get started on our iron farm, but first I needed to find a name tag. I did find one, but then I remembered that if I could just get a zombie to hold an item, I don't think it would despawn for the iron farm. So after some time, I got him and lured him under the chicken coop and trapped him there, trying not to die. I did this to see if it would work and to keep him somewhere safe. His helmet did break, but luckily he survived and I crafted him an iron one. Now on day 83 is when I started my iron farm, following another YouTube video. I'll leave it in the description. You can see how I take pauses every now and then to see what the hell I'm doing. I used red terracotta to make it somewhat pretty, and after that I went to go grab some villagers. Same deal as before, I just used rails and put them into minecarts, but man were these guys a pain. They did not want to get in, and I also didn't have enough iron for rails, ironically, since we're building an iron farm. Eventually I did get them on transport to their destination. Once that was done, I got our little zombie friend to follow us, and let's just say he hadn't healed from that fire damage he took, because apparently he broke a toe. Like, what? That wasn't even that high, my guy. Well, on to find another one. We got this one in the pouring rain, and once that one was in his little cage, we start building again. I used black stone walls because I thought it looked sleek, and I wasn't going to use blackstone for anything else, so why not? I placed my water, and while working, one actually spawned, and we got to see it burn. Now that is the sound of a moneymaker right there. From there, I just built a stairway up to the collection area, making sure the wood was the bottom half of the slab, so golems wouldn't spawn there, and that's it. Pretty simple. On day 86, I tried to get my beautiful trees back, and it definitely wasn't the same as the first two, but it is what it is. From here, I just mined for the rest of the day, and the following day, I crafted my first netherite ingot. Put it in a smithing table, and boom. Netherite chestplate, baby. I've never had netherite armor before, so this was pretty exciting. I also had diamonds for some pants, so I made those as well. Oh look, a golem spawned at the village. I'm assuming this happened because the roof of this house is completely dark inside, and mobs were spawning. Anyways, I enchanted those leggings and got lucky with Unbreaking 3 and Protection 4. With all that iron, I crafted an anvil and combined a Protection 3 book with my Protection 3 chestplate. Now we're looking like $1,000,000. Day 88, we got to the stronghold phase and farmed away for a long time. Nothing crazy happened here, but man, were the silverfish annoying. We did have a charged creeper though. Maybe we can get ahead. No, fuck that. We're not taking the chance. At the end of the day, I built another little shack next to his house since the villagers were breeding like crazy up there. I mean, I can't imagine they have anything else to do up there in the sky. Since I was getting ready to go to the end soon, day 89 was spent getting everything prepared to make our mob farm for levels. I wanted to make it out of stone brick, but I knew I wasn't going to have enough to build it. We were running out of time though, so I tried my best to use as much stone brick as I could. I made the exact same circle I used for the other two farms and just filled the floor in. I was smelting cobble as I went. Here comes that bamboo coming in handy to make a bunch of scaffolding. This is my first time using this stuff, and I love it for building. As for the other farms, there will be a link in the description to the video I got the design from as well, but most basic mob farms are the same. Once we build up 22 blocks, here's where I used all my useless andesite because I wanted the floor to at least be stone brick. On the fourth square, I did run out of slabs, so I used some cracked stone brick I had left. It's okay, nobody will know. Don't tell anybody. I switched to wood for the top part, and honestly, it didn't look that bad. It is a mob farm after all. They're usually plain and boring. We already got some visitors. Man, watching the scaffolding break is probably the most satisfying thing ever in this game. I did build this a block too far out, and the water wasn't reaching the end block here, but I didn't want to waste any time, so I just left it that way and hope for the best. On day 93, I had enough to make one more netherite ingot, so with these diamond pants that had protection 4, I upgraded them. Now we're really decked out. I also needed some dirt, so I made spaces in between the bamboo farm and expanded it a bit. I was saving the other side of the section for chorus fruit. The following day, I enchanted a diamond sword to get looting 2 because I didn't know if the end phase was going to give me pearls. And luckily, we got sharpness 3 out of it as well. With this newfound looting sword, I did another massacre, and I should be good for the rest of the days here. A diamond helmet was also made, and unfortunately, I only got unbreaking, but I did have a protection 3 book, and I could enchant another one at level 30, so we could just combine the 2 to make 4 with the helmet. I did make potions as well if you're wondering, speed, healing, and regen, just in case. My sword was named the Eater of Worlds, and my bow was named the Dragon Slayer, you know, for dramatic effect. Now again, I didn't know if the end phase was going to drop me pearls and or endermen, so I played it safe and went to the nether where I farmed them for a day. This definitely made me feel like I wasted a day, but let's be honest, I've already wasted a lot of days. Day 97, the end phase began, and yeah, endermen did in fact spawn. Why wouldn't they? Not much happened here, but a shulker did spawn, meaning I can go make a shulker box for our trip to the end. The endermite were the most annoying part of this phase, and they spawned in large groups, and they were really pissing me off. Also, I didn't even know you could get dragon breath in a bottle. It's kind of gross, Mojang. Why would I want the dragon's hot breath in a bottle? Day 99, the portal spawned, and I made any eyes of ender I was missing to make the portal. This fight was going to take about a day, so no better time than the present. I jumped in, and man, did we get a scare on entry. I thought it didn't spawn me on a platform, but we did. It was just some good old lag. I branched immediately, and man, did she look fierce. Popping my speed potion, I began trying to shoot the crystal from here. I can never do this little trick, so I just went old-fashioned and started building up to each crystal. One by one, I took out every single crystal. She usually always knocks me off when I'm doing this, but she didn't knock me down once. Who's a good girl? Low-key, I should have brought my donkey with me, and maybe they would have fell in love like in Shrek. That would have been so wholesome. Well, anyways, after every crystal was destroyed, we started shooting her. All those aim training moments are starting to pay off. Little by little, we got her weak, and when she started purging, we went for the under position. I sliced her neck multiple times, and I'm sure she was hurting. Eventually, I got her super weak, and when she purged, there you go, ladies and gents. The mighty dragon has fallen to my belly. No one else's. Georgie would be so proud. It was day 100 in the end, and I went to grab some chorus plant, as well as get the dragon egg. Here you go, guys. Make yourselves a nice dragon omelet. You're gonna need it with the infinite supply of villagers you got here. On this day, I sat on a big pillar wanting to see my giant circles. It looked amazing from up here. It's not much, but I sure am proud of everything I've accomplished in my journey back to Minecraft. To think, we started off with just one single block and made all of this in 100 days. I'm sure I could have made more, but regardless, I am very proud. It almost makes me want to tear up, man. But I won't. I'll be strong. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more 100-day videos, go ahead and smack that like button for the algorithm and let me know what was your favorite part, and if anyone says it was when my house burnt down, you can go fuck. But anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe.